What's up YouTube? This is my first filming for 2021. Just getting back into JR, so let's work on it together. So version 3, white guards, white drag wing, drag wheels, skinny rears. Still got the DOT slicks for street drag racing, C2 class, etc. So still got those, still pretty keen to get into that. So they're 4 stud at the moment. Got 4 stud hubs up there, all ready to go. Quick change fittings, so it's easy to swap over at the track. Yeah, pretty much on the right track, like had everything ready to go pre-2020/COVID, but back into it now. I'm going to make the most of it. Going to bring old JR back. Engine wise, everything's pretty much the same. When I say engine wise, I mean setup wise. All the accessories are the same. Turbo's the same spec. Is a different turbo, but same spec. Long block is different. Still all the same main components, but internally quite different cams. Yeah, so managed to tune this up in 2019. Made the number that I wanted on E85, took it to the drags. As many people said, had some issues, didn't really work out. Put the car back in the shed, and then 2020 happened. So the reason why it hasn't been racing is mainly budget, but the other side of it is the tune at the moment is super lean. So had it checked and thought it was fuel pump issues because settings in the computer wouldn't change the enrichment. So I've changed all the fuel pumps, swapped. This is the beauty of having these 2 cars. Put the rig out of the rally car into this car. Didn't adjust the pressure because I didn't want to mess with that tune. That didn't fix it. Blew out all the lines, took out the big fuel pumps. So I'll show you the fuel pump setups down here. Here we go. Everyone's like, oh, check your filters. Yeah, I know, that's pretty standard, that's easy. So there's a filter for post pump, that's very easy, it's a fresh filter element in it. There's pre-pump right there from the fuel tank. Twin 044s, well they're actually the AEM version now, the E85 ones. Hopefully there's enough light. And then factory tank modified to give me this space. So this is all back in again at the moment, and we're going to do a retune and see if it's tune related or if it was actually a mechanical that I've been chasing for a long time. So that's pretty cool. We'll get into that as soon as we're back in level 2. So the car's currently 5 lug. That's so I can run the semi-slicks off the rally car just for traction issues because it's literally that quick. Both sides. And the rear's a bit of a pain. Requires that big spacer in there, which means it needs longer studs. So it's all just little stuff that you have to swap around and play the whole time. Anyone think it's just, I just changed wheels, but nah, more to it than that. So on this side, which I did yesterday, old faithful old street stuff back on. So drag setup, street wheels, 5 lug, short studs back in, no spacer. So now I've decided to play with spring rates. Used to always run, when it was a reliable drag car, 6 and 4. 6 in the front, 4 in the rear, which is pretty much the standard spring rates that the BC Golds come with. When I started changing it into a track car, this is well before I purchased WR, even dreamed of owning WR, I was doing whatever I could with this car to just keep racing, keep progressing with my driving. So this car sort of turned into a track/street car. It never really wanted to be a track car with the engine facing so far forward. It just didn't work. It's always very, very light in the rear end. So pretty much what I'm doing now is reversing everything that I did back then. Going right back to that 2014 reliable setup, but with a better engine and a little bit more horsepower. Stay 5 lug, or maybe, yeah, no, stay 5 lug. Run the street tyres, run the street wheels on the back, just like I used to back in the day. Only difference is the car is white now, not candy red. So the plan is to go back. There's a few things that need changing to go back. So one of the first things we did early days of drag racing is we made these top hats for the front. So Barry Manning made these. They're really cool. They're adjustment for caster and camber, whereas the standard ones just have camber. Standard ones there. Just camber. Obviously we move that right back, recess this so the bolts are under the tower. So that was cool, we did that a long time ago, so we'll keep those seem to work. In the rear, we got custom top hats for camber because GDX or TX3 laser stuff does not have any camber in the rear with BCs. This is what they come with from BC, just a rubber bushing, no pillow ball or anything, which I like this for drag racing. This is simple. There's a little bit of camber adjustment on the bottom of the hub. So yeah, going back to this. Right, so on the front wheel, so we've got that caster and camber top hat in there. We're still running BC golds, like nothing fancy, it just works. So we got that up in there. When we started doing the track racing, we started changing more things. So of course we changed spring rates. So I'm just looking at there at the moment, I've got 10 kilo springs in the front of this. Which probably doesn't seem much to like people in drifting or anything like that, but I have no idea. I'm just guessing. I'm no crew chief. I just pretend to be one, and spin spanners hard. So 10 kilo spring in the front. Used to drag race with the standard 6 and 4 setup that these come with. So I thought, I'll just go back to that. Then I thought about it a bit more. I'm like, nah, let's take those 10s. Let's put the 10s in the rear. And let's take the 6s that were in the, put the 6s back in the front. So I'll shoot you over here. I actually swapped the discs. I'll show you why. Hang on. It's so funny, this is all like old rusty stuff because it's been sitting around so long, but hey, it works. So again, that whole track racing thing that was going on used to always be light in the rear, lock the rears too easy. So it's kind of cool to go back in time and like look back on the things you changed and the ideas you had. So we had slotted rear discs. Look at this solid rear disc from a TX3. It's just stock, like it doesn't need anything else. So it has these slots in it for cleaning up the pads. And we thought that was too aggressive, so we went to a completely stock disc for track racing. Obviously I'm going to be using the handbrake and all that for dragging again, so I thought I may as well go back to slotted just to keep those pads clean. So yeah, this is out and this is back in, done on this side. While I was there, digging through my box of springs, here's the long 6s, which would have been the stock fronts. So I'm going to put them, I don't know, I'll play around, I'll just check with the fitment of the slicks. But it'll either be the short or the long 6 goes in the front. And then the 10s that are currently in the front will go in the back. So that's the mission that we're going to do today.